We're live. Hey everybody, it's Mike Meyers. I'm going to give it a little bit of a pause here, make sure everybody can see me and say hello. If I look good and if I sound good, be sure to let me know about that in the chat window right now, please. I'm waiting for your input. Somebody let me know how great I am. Fantastic. All right, thank you very much. Hey guys, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Mike Meyers Ask Mike Anything live stream. The goal of this live stream is to provide those of us who are studying CompTIA certifications an opportunity to ask me any questions you might have on the topics of CompTIA certifications. Now keep in mind, we go way beyond CompTIA certifications here. We love talking about technical issues. As long as the technical issues kind of fit within the CompTIA world, I'm always happy to do that. If you're going to ask me to reprogram a Cisco router, I can do that, but I prefer to save that for the CCNA folks. But feel free to ask me any type of question you want. You ask me questions simply by just typing them into the chat window. And while we're at the chat window, do me a favor. You see at the top where it says Top Chat? Hit that pull down and set it to live chat so we can get rid of YouTube's weird algorithms. And we're going to be giving away some practice questions today too. So setting it to live chat is definitely a big plus. As usual, back in behind the scenes and doing an amazing job is my buddy Dave Rush. Dave is the man when it comes to making sure everything runs beautifully in the background. And if I look good, it's his fault. So Dave's always here. And we got a lot of the regulars. I see my buddy Tolowit and Andre and Will. Where's Patricia when I need her? Come on. Daniel, TD. Do any of you people actually remember the old television show Romper Room? Does that even still play on? I don't even know if it plays anymore, but they used to have this thing where she would go, Magic Mirror, and she would actually name kids watching us. I always feel like I'm doing something out of Romper Room every time I do that. Weird algorithms. Tolowit, you are a strange and lovely man. I see Billy. There we go. All right, now we're all onto it. There's Patricia. Man, where the heck were you? I hated that she never said my name. Hold on. We're going to fix that right now, Patricia. Just because Romper Room ripped you off, Mike Meyers will come there and be there for you. So I got to pick something to read. Okay, how about if I read over one of my Network Plus books? I don't have a magic mirror. I see Patricia Grace. Huh? See, you can take that off your bucket list, babe. I was there for you. All right, so a lot of things are going on today. First of all, my new CEO, Gabe, gives his apologies, but he is a busy dude. And he said he will be on sometime next month. So we're just going to go ahead and put a pause on that. So you're just with me. As I am, so am I. So no big deal there. I do want you guys to know that we got a lot of stuff going on, man. Okay, first of all, Dave, I wish you would just like tattoo all of our guests on my forehead so I remember. So next Monday, November 21st, I've got my co-author from Network Plus, Joe Ram, will be on. And then November 30th is going to be Doug Jones. Remember, Doug Jones works for the Spartan Group for the ISS. They actually power the space station. So I'm really excited to have Doug on board. Plus, he's an ex-missile guy. And yeah, he used to be down in the silos, and he was the one ready to turn the key if the balloon ever went up. And then poor Steve Nicholson. You Florida people, man, you know, we get hurricanes here in Houston, but good Lord, y'all are getting smacked a lot. Steve continues to apologize, but he'll be coming. So that brings up a very important issue I want to talk about, and that is Zam. I remember, is Zam even on today? He'll be on later. Zam had been asking questions about how to push MSIs from an individual Windows server, and the reason I've been putting you off, Zam, is because Steve Nicholson's going to be doing Active Directory. I thought that would be the perfect time to do it. But with Steve's delays, I'm going to go ahead and I just started queuing up a VM so that I could have a copy of Windows Server here and we do the demo. So bear with me, Zam. I have not forgotten you. I apologize. I know you've waited 2 weeks for this, and we will make it happen. So no worries there. Sorry. So I'm sitting here trying to talk to you guys, and then I hear funny things. Lester, man, where have you been? Don's here, good. Every time I missed AMA, I felt like my Monday and Wednesdays are incomplete. Yeah, when you miss a Mike Meyers AMA, your day is incomplete. No disagreement there at all. Blue Lantern. Hey, Mike, have you looked at the Data Plus test? I am also wondering the difference between Cloud Essentials and Cloud Plus. Blue Lantern, I have not. I can tell you right now, I will not look at the Data Plus. I'm not against CompTIA certifications in general, obviously, but I like to stay in my lane. And I want to concentrate on the stuff that I do best. So I'm always going to be in that A+, Net+, Security Plus lane. I'm actually better at AWS Cloud Essentials than I am at Cloud Plus. But I'm going to tell you right now, Blue Lantern, they're probably very, very similar. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I think there's going to be a lot of similarity between those two. I'm usually a fan, and I will usually say go for the CompTIA. I mean, like Certified Ethical Hacker versus Pentest Plus. I'm sorry, I've known the CEH folks for a long time, but CompTIA has done an amazing job with Pentest Plus, and considering the certification costs, what, 1/3 of CEH? I'm a Pentest Plus guy these days, so just something for y'all to think about. Don, can I do an AMA for PF Sense? I literally just said I don't want to do a Cisco iOS course, and now you want me to do PF Sense. Here, I'll tell you what, Don. Here's how we could do that. I'm not great at PF Sense, and to be honest with you, I've probably been a year and a half, 2 years since I've actually played with it last. So I'm not against doing that just for a CIC. You guys know what CIC stands for, right? Because it's cool. But Don, you're going to have to dun me a little bit. And speaking of dunning me, do remember, everybody, that I have, we can do this. Whoops, wrong one. Ignore that man behind the window. There we go. Don, here's my email address right here, brother. So the squeaky wheel gets the grease around here. We get a lot of questions. And what I need you to do is send me emails. Remind me about this stuff. You know, I got to tell you, this Gabe guy, he's making me work for a living. So sometimes I forget about certain requests you guys have made. Never be afraid to crack the whip over my head. Send me emails. If I'm not responding, send me more emails. And I always will get to them, I promise. Even if, like poor Zam, who's been asking to do pushing out installs from a Windows Server for 2 weeks now, I will get to it. It's like what I tell the IRS every year. I forgot. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in here. Isn't Doug Jones a Star Trek actor? Will Shaw, that's absolutely true. Mike Meyers is also an actor, but not on this show. That's because you're seeing it like it is. RJ, hey, there's a new face. RJ, welcome aboard. Glad to see you. Welcome. Norvik. Very happy I'm seeing Mike over 10 hours per day until meet him. I wish. Well, Norvik, just come on down to Texas, man. We'll drink some beers, have a good time. Edgar Salinas. Edgar, good to see you, man. Blue Lantern. I really like numbers and math. Me too. I'd really like to get into cloud data analytics. Woo, Blue Lantern, you are speaking a language I do not know. I have friends who are database nerds, and they're great folks, but boy, you know, it's always a funny thing about nerddom. When they talk about nerds, they always talk about IT nerds. Man, I have met automobile nerds. I've met quilting nerds. I've met gardening nerds. Everybody has a certain amount of nerddom, you know? So, unfortunately, I am not a data nerd. That is a whole other universe. TD Washington, I like the Data Plus is vendor neutral. I got to tell you, it's one of the things I've always loved about CompTIA. The vendor neutral aspect's important. Now, don't think that CompTIA can't be swayed a little bit one way or another. I mean, you do understand that CompTIA counts on revenue from certification plus membership dues, right? So if Lexmark writes CompTIA a big check, we might see a few more laser printer questions on A+. But in general, CompTIA does a marvelous job of staying very independent and very vendor neutral. I'll tell you the one thing, if you're a manufacturer or a distributor of hardware or software, there's a seat at the table for you with CompTIA, which I can't say for much anybody else. That was the funny part was, Blue Lantern, when you said I really like numbers, I was like, I think you mean Numbers Nightclub here in Houston, the notorious nightclub. I was, no, he's just talking about math. So a couple of things also to keep in mind. You got my email address. Whoops. Tired of looking at that yet? You got my email address. You've got, if you take a look in the live chat, Dave's posted up both my TotalSem and my National Cyber accounts. Please contact me. That's just the way to do it. But that's not enough, okay? Number one, at least follow me on LinkedIn, okay? I mean, I'd rather you connect with me, but if you just want to follow, I understand when you follow, you get less noise, and I do get a little noisy on LinkedIn. So feel free to, you see my LinkedIn profile right there? Please, please, please jump in and let me know you're around. So is Lester still on? Lester, how you doing, man? Lester's a great example. Me and Lester are like LinkedIn buddies. You know, we're always hanging out together. So it's always good to see you, man. All right. So do keep in mind, guys, we start here at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we go on until we run out of questions or I run out of things to say. And I assure you, I rarely do the latter. So as long as you keep asking questions, we'll keep talking. So we usually like to run about an hour. Like on Monday, we ran for almost an hour and a half, I think. Equally, if it's a quiet day, then we're just going to do a few questions and cut it a little short. So it's completely up to you. Blue Lantern, never heard of Joe Ram. Joe Ram is a great guy, and he's actually taking over for me on the Network Plus. He's from New Jersey, so he's, you know, hey, yo, Mikey boy, you know, he talks like this. But he's a crackerjack technician and a lot of fun to listen to. So, yeah, that's right. Say, Lester, you got to tell me how you're doing with CyberNow Labs. I'm really curious to know how you're doing in the class. You know, are you in the blue chip program? You should be if you're not. And it would mean a lot to me if Lester, if you take a chance either on LinkedIn or through a private email. It's completely up to you. Just let me know how you're doing. You know, what's the vibe over there? It's hilarious, and it's not for lack of invitation. But I have not actually sat through a course. You know, the problem is I'm busy. Okay, I'm not that busy, but Hassan and Omar and the guys over there, you've heard me mention them a bunch of times. They all want me to come on, so I am going to do it. I swear I'm going to do it. By Grapthar's hammer, I will do it. Oh, I need all of the tea. Yeah, we're drinking tea today, so keep the pinkies out, kids. All right, let's see what's going with. What else is happening here? RJ, I'm experimenting with Linux Ubuntu terminal, created myself as a user. How do I make the new user me as a super user? I got to think about that for a minute. I'm rusty. Dave Rush, help me out. That's a Dave Rush question. Let's see what Dave has to say. I keep wanting to say Chaon. I think it would be Chaon, wouldn't it? Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Asking me command line interface questions off the top of my head. You have to understand, when you get to a terminal, you always have to type the commands wrong 3 times. It's tradition. Edgar Salinas. I'm just saying your name, Edgar. Hey, how's it going, brother? Kimber Parker, that's a new name. That sounds cool. I'll be looking that up. Okay, good. Please do. Will Shaw. Will Shaw, man, you're giving Tolowit a run for the money for your snappy repartee, mon frere. I'll have to ask Joe, Taylor ham or pork roll? Great way to start trouble with a Jersey native. Ooh. What you need to ask him, if you really want to get trouble with a Jersey native, is tell him that the pierogies in Philadelphia are far better than the ones in New Jersey. That'll get a fist fight going every time. Yeah, Lester, I don't remember where you live. I need to make I could have swore that you were in Florida, dude. And I'm getting a lot of noise from people in Florida to do a little trip around. And, you know, for me to go to Florida, that also requires Cape Canaveral. I don't know if you guys are wearing. I'm wearing my Artemis 1 shirt. Successful launch today. Pretty exciting stuff. Bonus points for a Galaxy Quest reference. Thank you for catching that. Don, Mike, what's the best way to have switches interconnected for redundancy? Well, I mean, keep in mind, whenever you're dealing with a broadcast domain, the idea of having redundancy for switches is rarely a good idea. when you're looking for that level of redundancy, and by the way, I've been in some pretty secure data farms that have high, like every system has dual power supplies and stuff like that. I have not run into a situation where entire broadcast domains are redundant. I'll tell you one thing is the right way to do it is you're going to have to put 2 NICs in every system so that there's like a fallover in that department. I have seen backbones that were redundant, and in that case it was also usually a fallover type of thing that the secondary backbone switch wouldn't kick in unless there was some kind of problem like a broadcast storm or something like that that would force that to come over. But yeah, Don, usually when you're talking about redundancy in switches, that switches are tanks, man. They are tanks. And I know many a switch sitting around in many a rack all over the world that's been sitting there for 15, 20 years without a problem, as long as you're willing to run it 10 megabits per second, and a lot of people are very happy with that. But Don, I wouldn't be looking at switches for redundancy. RJ, I kept trying to make a command under my new user and it said I didn't have permission and that I'd be reported. You're running Ubuntu terminal and you're being reported. RJ, you're telling me something, you're not telling me the whole story here. The only possibility that could happen on a standalone system is if you had an administrator who was getting a little clever with, what am I thinking about here? I'm going crazy. Certain types of auditing systems, and I'd be more tempted to see something like that in a Windows environment than in a Linux environment. Atlanta, oh, Lester, of course you're in Atlanta. I'm so sorry. Isn't that embarrassing? Guys, Lester was actually there at the Skills USA meeting. When was that, Lester? Last July? August? I forget when. I do like Atlanta. You know what Atlanta has that I really like? Sushi. Y'all have like crazy good sushi there. I don't know what it is, but there's something, because you're right next to the ocean, right? Okay. Okay, guys. First off, the big question I want to have here is, I only see a few new faces today, but I'm going to ask anyway. Does anybody want to have a competition? I'm giving away free practice questions today, so, but I need like 3 or 4 of you guys to say yes. Tolowit, you don't count. And let me know, type in some yeses here, and we'll have a competition. RJ, new guy, of course, that's good. Let's see some more yeses here, people. All right, EIUOL Trim Hog. Man, I'm sorry, I hate to be all American on you, but that's a tough one for me to pronounce. All right, we have a quorum. That's all I wanted to see. Tolowit, RTX 4090 giveaway. You know what's sad? I know we had 3 great shows as I built that system up. You know where it's sitting right now? Turned off, dismantled. Well, the system unit's still together, but it's turned off. The keyboard, the mouse are laying there. I've got a monitor somewhere on the other side of the house, and I need a home for it. What I need to do is give away my old system, which I know it'd be hard for you guys to choke on a 7th generation i9 with 128 gigs of DDR4 running it's only running a 1070 Ti, but the problem is too many of you guys are in Europe. If it wasn't for shipping costs, I'd be giving a lot more stuff away. It amazes me how much it costs to ship stuff anywhere. So that's why we give away free practice questions that y'all can take advantage of anytime you want. How sweet is that? All right. So how are we doing on time? It's only 2:20. We're early. This is a short day. Saboniso Dlamini. Man, you guys got to tell me how to pronounce names properly. Mike, if I write the Core 1 this year and next year write the Core 2, is it possible even the Core is retired? Oh, no. You're fine. So you're talking about the A+. So the A+ 220-1001, pardon me, and the A+ 220-1002 are retired, okay? So they retired a couple of months ago. I forget when they retired. Dave will correct me. So it's all the 220-1101 and 220-1102. and those will be around for the next 3 years or so, so nothing's going to change. My only challenge to you is if you do one exam this year, is this one of these things you're worried about the calendar changing? You take one in December and one in January kind of a thing? That's not a problem. The problem I have is that anytime you're going for any form of certification, you're in a study mode, right? You're taking those evenings, you're taking those weekends, and you're learning what you need to learn. And in those situations, guys, to take an exam and then put it down is, in my opinion, not that great of an idea. I tell most people that they should sit for both exams on the same time. You take one exam, you get up, go to the bathroom, come back, and knock the second exam out. I always wait to have a cough until, I'm on camera because, it's how we roll here in Portland. There you go, Scott S. 90 days free access to a TotalTester is just as valuable as an RTX 4090. I like the cut of your jib, young man. That's all I have to say about that. But Sponiso, I'm going to get it right, I promise. You can certainly take one, and I think you have a year to take the second exam, although I think that's a terrible idea. I understand for some people's situations that takes place, and you're okay. Joseph M., first time I had sushi, I got the California rolls, not really sushi. I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's sushi if it has ham in it. What's it in California roll? I don't even remember. Is that the one with cream cheese? No, that's a Philadelphia roll. But it came with guacamole plus wasabi. Okay. It looks like guac. Well, I took a big bite of the wasabi thinking it was guac. Ooh, yeah. Joseph, I've done the same thing, and I did it with real wasabi, which lit me up like a candle, to say the least. RJ, October 20th. Thank you, RJ. Yeah, so the 220-1001, 1002 retired in October. So I need to warn you guys, if you go online, like to Udemy or LinkedIn or any of these folks who are distributing my stuff, do keep in mind that they keep the older exam out there. It's not for us. There are some international folks who can still take the older exams. There's certain exemptions for very, very specific organizations, but don't do it. I always hate this time of year because I get so many people going, oh, I just took the 220-1001. I'm like, yeah, so got to be careful about that. You did pay the price, Joseph. I know the feeling. Patricia Grace, what does a dedicated NAS box like Synology offer over making your own? Is it just having racks and enhanced energy efficiency? No, I mean, Patricia, you can buy yourself a beige box 1 or 2U unit and build your own box from there. First of all, especially if you're talking in a Soho environment, you don't even really need a rack. I mean, just take a regular old beige box, fill it full of drives, and you can, if you want to be really cool, you can get yourself a dedicated hardware RAID controller. It's a PCIe card you can snap in, go through that route. That's going to guarantee hot swappability. That's going to guarantee having the software to let you know if a drive dies. It's going to let you do RAID array rebuilds and stuff like that. Although I got to tell you, man, if you guys have been watching last week when we built up the system, the Super RTX system, when I dropped a bunch of SATA drives in there, the case has hot swappability built into it. I had to configure that within the system setup. But then with storage spaces, I gotta tell you, if you don't need a lot of hard throughput, good old Windows software RAID storage spaces is sweet, and it's free. It comes with Windows. I mean, come on, you know. The other thing you're going to get with building your own NAS box is you can get dedicated versions of Linux, so you're not spending $100 on a version of Windows. Most of these Linux systems are Linux distributions are very good at handling everything from JBOD. JBOD means just a bunch of disks, and it'll go through and map them via Windows so that people can access them. So you end up having DEFHIJKLM kind of drive situation, and they also will handle anything through RAID 6 and even proprietary RAIDs. And that's the last reason why you might want to take a look at a Synology box, and that is Synology will do traditional RAID just fine, but they have their own custom RAID. that is terrifying in its power. Like, let me give you an example. If you're spinning up a RAID 5 system, right? So let's keep the numbers easy. Let's say I've got 3 1 terabyte drives. Because of the nature of RAID 5, I'm only getting 2 terabytes of actual storage out of 3 terabytes worth of drives, but that's the price we pay for redundancy, right? Synology, through secret magic, this is all proprietary. They don't tell you how it works, it just runs. And for the record, at Total Seminars, we've been running on these proprietary RAID solutions for 5 or 6 years. They're tanks. But what they'll do is, let's go through that same scenario. So I've got, let's just say I've got 3 drives, 2 1 terabytes and 1 2 terabyte. With traditional RAID, all of the drives get brought down to the size of the smallest drive. So even if you have 1 2 terabyte drive, tough bananas, with traditional RAID, it's going to be treated like a 1 terabyte. And you still only end up having 2 terabytes of total storage. Synology's weird proprietary setups allow you to use different size drives. And it's magic, but they will use all of the drives. And it works really, really well. Synology is actually surprisingly inexpensive. I mean, we're talking a few $100 for a box. And there's no drives in it, so that's going to be a separate cost. But they're sweet boxes. And but again, Patricia, if you're just talking Soho, just grab a handy desktop box somewhere that can handle a bunch of drives in it, and schlep them in there. Get a Linux version that's designed to run with RAID arrays. There's 5 or 6 distros. I can't name them off the top of my head. And you'll be in good shape. Can you run the software on a regular PC, or is a special OS needed? Well, every operating system has its own RAID software. Like we just described with Windows, storage spaces is literally built into the OS. You get software RAID out of the box, which is sweet. And that runs through, they have a 3-way parity, which I don't really know exactly what that is. I do know that it's proprietary, again, like the Synology, but it's like RAID 6, where you can lose 2 drives. You have to have a minimum of 5 drives to run it. And that just comes with Windows. Linux has 1,000 free solutions. I don't know anything about Macs, no Speaky Mac. But anybody who's using Mac as a server, I think, is strange anyway. So don't get mad. Come on, Tolowit. I know you love your Macs. I love Macs too. I really do. You know, people ask me, you know, because Mike, I always make jokes about Apple products. If you said, Mike, I have a person who's not technical and I need to give them a phone and I don't want to be their technical support, what should I do? iPhones are fantastic. You know, my problem with iPhones is that, well, for one thing, iPhones don't fold. Yeah, it's no big deal. But the other thing is that I need to sometimes like raw install APK files. Those are application files. And you can do it with Apple products, but it's hard. Apple is what's the old term we used to do? A benevolent dictator. They really do want to do their best, but they're going to put the hammer down on certain security things that Android lets loose a little bit on. So there you go. Yeah, one of these days when I have copious spare time, I'm going to start looking at alternative smartphone operating systems. Android's getting too fancy for its pants, in my opinion, and I just want to find something that's a little more secure and is not just the telemetry sometimes, even with Android. Maybe it's not Android, it's more Google. Or if you're silly enough to have Facebook Messenger installed on your phone, then, well, you deserve what you get. But taking a look at some of these third-party alternatives, I started doing this a couple of months ago and just got buried. But one of these days, round to it, we're going to be doing that. Okay, Dave has some good information. The details, thanks again, Dave. Always appreciate you helping me out in terms of when you can take the cores. So you don't even you can wait more than a year. So you can take the core and wait 2 years. All right, as long as it's within the lifespan of that certification, you're okay. Synology, oh, that's a good point, Dave. I forgot. The other nice thing that Synology offers that's pretty cool is hot swap, or a hot spare, where let's say I'm running 12 drives on a Synology box. I can configure 11 of them as an array and then I can keep the 12th drive as a hot spare. And literally, if one of the drives dies, it'll rebuild the array automatically, and you can configure this in Synology. But Dave, I'm going to tell you, I think that some of the Linux distros, NAS distros, also allow for that. But I'm not positive, so I don't want to be a liar. RJ, interested in building a PC with Mac OS. Can you do it? A, yes. B, it's illegal. I don't want to talk about it here. Tolowit, I'm not a Mac fan. Tolowit, I could have swore you were a Mac fan. Sorry, brother. Why would you want to build a PC with a Mac OS? That doesn't even make sense. The problem with the Mac OS isn't that you can't install it on a traditional Intel system. The problem is Macs require a very specific type of BIOS that doesn't exist on Windows type systems, and you have to do some weird stuff. If you want to break the law, and it's not that big of it's a jaywalking, it's not robbing a bank, you can find ISOs and put them in virtual machines, which is probably the easier thing to do. But again, you're breaking the rules when you do that, okay? It's not a criminal thing, it's a civil thing, but you've been warned. So anytime you see me suddenly get quiet and looking, it's because I'm looking for questions. Abkar, we got some Synology people. SHR data protection. Yeah, I am familiar with that too. I like the applications for video editing. That's exactly why we have it. You can imagine if I'm shooting a video over at Total Seminars, it could actually be disastrous for us if we were to lose some of the raw video footage, right? I mean, if we're literally trying to do post-production, and heck with the video, I can always jump back in front of a camera. It's some of the motion graphic stuff that I know you guys love so much in those videos. That's work. And if we were to lose a drive and lose that, we'd be in trouble. So that's exactly why Synology exists over at Total Seminars, is the video editing application. Very handy. All right, guys, do keep in mind, whenever I see @ on anything posted, I just skip past it because I'm assuming it's not for me. Do Windows and Linux VMs work well on Macs? They do. Actually, they work extremely well. Just make sure you have a hypervisor that is designed to work with Macs. The old Parallels, I think, is still out there, but you have to pay for that. It's my understanding the VirtualBox runs just fine on a Mac. I have never personally done it myself, Blue Lantern, but you absolutely can do that. It is a lot easier to start with a Mac and put it, and it's completely legal too, to start with a Mac and put in foreign operating systems than to start with a PC and trying to put a Mac on it. It's straight up a licensing problem. So the problem with an older Mac, especially these all-in-ones, we've got a bunch of them at Total Seminars, I wish I could give them away, is they have fixed RAM in them. And keep in mind, whenever you're doing virtual machines, guys, you need a lot of memory. And 16 gigs is, in my opinion, on the low end. Remember, I just built a box with 64 gigs in it, and that is a bit of a challenge. I will say this, though. I recently got a MacBook. I use Apple products. Stop staring at me like that. And with that new M2 processor, holy camolians. I let this computer, like a regular laptop, you use it for the day and then you unplug it. Then you plug it in and charge it at night, right? I mean, that's what I've always done. I haven't plugged in my MacBook in over a week. Really. It's just like mind-bending. And I went ahead and put an Adobe suite on it just to push it a little bit. And I'm running Illustrator and Photoshop and there's like 400 different apps that come with Adobe Creative Cloud these days. I forget them all. I'm running them all on 8 gigs of RAM. 8 gigs. They're all running like tops. It's terrifyingly scary what that does. The problem with an M2 processor, if you consider this a problem, is that RAM ain't something that you snap in anymore. RAM is built into the CPU just like everything else these days. So we're like this far away from the entire world of PCs becoming system on a chip. I swear if it wasn't for workstation stuff and video production, I think that most people wouldn't put a screwdriver to a PC anymore. And don't go telling me that that's the end of PC technicians. I've been hearing that for 30 years. Oh my gosh, the new IBM PS2, 1988, it's self-configuring, it's plug and play, paperless office, and I'm in more paper than ever. So it's the difference is, and this is a big difference for techs, is that your ability to use a screwdriver is less important these days than your ability to use a keyboard. If you told me that you were good at snapping in RAM, I'd say that's great, but I would rather see you be able to tell me how to change ownership to create root privileges on a Linux box, which I cannot do obviously off the top of my head. So do keep that in mind. Okay, do keep in mind that especially for you new folks, keep in mind that just because you're nice enough to show up today, we provide amazing discounts. As I always tell everybody, to pass any form of certification, not just CompTIA, not just IT, it doesn't matter. Certifications all over the world, nursing for all I care, you need three things. Number one, you need instruction. That instruction is either going to manifest as a live person or it's going to manifest as videos. And of course, Mike Meyers videos are great. Number two, you're going to need reference, and that's going to be a book 9 times out of 10, because searching through web pages to learn something like, I don't know, RAID levels is always a pain. And then number three, you need to be able to test yourself, and that's going to manifest through practice questions. Now at Total Seminars, we provide the wonderful Total Testers, and just because you're nice enough to show up, we have an offer where you can get an ebook, not a paper book, an ebook, and you can get our Total Testers. So let's say you're interested in Network Plus. So with Network Plus, you can get the ebook. Head over to my website, www.totalsem.com. Dave's already got it in the chat window. Head over there, head over to the merchant area, grab a copy of the Network Plus ebook, grab a copy of the Network Plus Total Tester, just drop those in your cart, and just before you check out, type in Moby, M-O-B-Y, as in Moby Dick, and you get half off. Look, guys, I'm already the cheapest out there of the good stuff, and then we take it off another 50%. My prices are insane, so please take advantage of that. It's just absolutely nutsy. I know, people are always like, yeah, it's not expensive. Do it, do it. RAM built in the CPU. Can you upgrade your RAM? You cannot. So make sure you buy the Apple. It's so funny. I talk to a lot of people who use Apple, and no offense to those wonderful Apple users, but most of the time when I run into Apple users, they're not super techy. They just want something that works. They could be program managers, or they could be security people, or whatever it is, and they're running apps, and they don't really care about the hardware. Yes, I know that sounds terrible because, I'm a hardware nerd, but that is the case. Oh yeah, Blue Lantern, Andre's saying upgrade your CPU. Andre, I'm unaware of any MacBooks that can actually upgrade the CPU. I'm not saying they can't, because I've never tried. I know that the Mac Mini also comes with the M1, which is a precursor to the M2 processor, and those were upgradable, but those were the only ones. So, Daniel Thibodeau, God, I love that name, Daniel Thibodeau. You cannot get more Louisiana than that. Where'd you go? What happened? I scrolled again. Is there any way to make a laptop mobile? Sell. Sure. You can get USB cellular modems, in essence. I've never seen anybody try to take a laptop and turn it into make phone calls mobile, but it's trivial enough to use that as a data thing. Traditionally, I would keep one around, but now wireless is so prevalent, I don't really do it anymore. And I didn't want to pay $65 a month for the cellular service. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. And you can use tethering, for example, if you want to share your connection to allow other people to get on the internet. Yeah, absolutely doable. No, not the new Windows processor, Blue Lantern, the Mac processor. If I said Windows, I apologize. Mac. Andre, there is such a thing as a Mac CPU, and these new M1s and M2s, I actually don't know who actually does the fab processing for them. I don't think it's Intel. Daniel Thibodeau, what about a 3.1 Thunderbolt adapter to make a laptop receive cell LTE? You don't have to be that fancy, Daniel. They'll just put it in a USB 3 slot, and it'll work fine. Andre, just stop. You're killing me here, man. Here, ow, we're talking about MacBooks. I thought we were talking about computers. Andre, you're fine. Dude, I'm telling you, the M2 processor is impressive as anything. Blue Lantern, so does the M2 processor only come with 8 gigs or are there more options? There are more options. I don't know what the highest level is. I think there's a 16. I do not think there's a 32. But you got to keep in mind, this is not a classic CISC processor, okay? This is not a complex instruction set computing processor. It's new. It ain't really RISC either, so I don't know what to call this thing other than magic. It's just magic. Come on, I've got like 3 or 4 Adobe Creative Cloud apps, which are memory hogs in and of themselves, all running simultaneously on 8 gigs of RAM. You can't do that on a Windows machine. So kudos to Apple when they deserve it. That was extremely well done. Okay, so it looks like questions are slowing down a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a moment right now and let's have a quick competition. Now, here's how this competition works, okay? I think we're going to do a Network Plus question today. So here's how this works. Number one, this is not a fair competition. So if you're looking for fairness, tough. I try to make it fair, but like you'll think you're the first person to enter it, but you're not. The live chat is pretty much first come, first serve. Secondarily, what I say goes. So we don't get too many complaints for the most part. Also, do keep in mind that you might get mohand. Mohand means to win the competition enough times that I cut you off. So some of you guys, you might be cut off if you've won a lot. If you've won a lot and you still want to play, just type in your answer and then put the word pass next to it, and then we'll give you a pass. We got some new kids on here, guys, so let's always let the new folks have their first shot. Checking one more time. No, I'd like to make them fair, Andre. It's just tough sometimes. You know, sometimes you get somebody's little thin skin on there going, I had to answer first. You know, whatever. So let's do a question. Network Plus. Let me pull something off the top of my head. You want an easier one? Let's do an easier one just for fun. What is the current latest standard for 802.11? The current newest and most attractive standard for 802.11. What's it called? I'll give you a clue. It starts with the number 8. Go! I see, Will. You self-mohoned. Thank you for that. Scott S. passed. RJ, you're wrong. All right, keep asking. Come on, folks. All right, we see some answers here. Jose Braden? They finally let you out of prison? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Jose, it's good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. All right. Abgar, first of all, because you said both AX and Wi-Fi 6, I'm going to give you extra credit, but that isn't the question I actually asked, so I'm going to have to stick with it. And there is a mysterious person whose name is Mike. Okay, first of all, I'm really impressed. If your name is Mike on YouTube, that means you must be about 130 years old and you were on day 1 with YouTube to get the name Mike. I will also pay you $500 to trade. I'm almost halfway serious to get Mike on YouTube. That's impressive as anything. But Mike, Mr. Impressive, very short YouTube name, you, sir, are the winner. And congratulations to you. You win 90-day free access to the TotalTester testers of your choice. Now, in order to get your prize, you got to jump through a couple little hoops here. Hang on. All right, so here's what I need you to do. Mike, just Mike. That's crazy. I'm waiting for another person, Bob or something like that. Mike, number 1, you need to send an email to Dave Rush. So look up on the screen there. So it's daver@totalsem.com. Mike, in that email, I need you to put 3 things. Number 1, I want you to put your YouTube name. Your YouTube name is Mike. Number 2, I need your email address. Now you'll say to me, well, Mike, I'm sending him an email. Why not just use a return email? Because we've learned the hard way that people play silly games. So I need that email in the body of the, I need that email address in the body of the email. And then number 3, obviously, Mike, we need you to tell us what practice exam you want, and Dave will get that shipped to you. Now, when we say shipped, it's just we give you access. This is a completely online product, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can easily access it. And do keep in mind that we have a lot of products over there, so don't be afraid to look around. You know, you might find something other than the big 3 there. So well done, Mike. Mike, I'll make a deal with you. Call me. Yeah. That's, yeah. Scott S. Suspicious. Mike wins Mike's contest. Yeah, Scott, you know, we're part of the anti-Scott brigade here. Our goal as Mike's is to make sure that no Scots in any form or shape can ever move forward, even great Scott. Okay, that sounded funnier in my head, but whatever. Mike, I'll sell you the Blue Lantern name for a Blue Lantern powered ring. Blue Lantern? Isn't that the bad lantern? Don't you want the Green Lantern? Norvik, for networking, I get the N10007. Is it good or should I buy any one? The current Network Plus exam is the N10007 and that is the one you want. Scott S., this is a Mike Tatership, and whatever Mike says, Mike gets. Yeah, that sounds like a song from a musical somewhere. It was. Shirley MacLaine. Oh well. Sorry, guys. I got to make a quick check here. Oh, it's N10008. N10008. Thank you for correcting me, Dave. I appreciate that very much. Yes, 008. Sorry. Where'd he go? N10008. Is the N10007? If it's N10008, shouldn't even be on there. So, yeah, 008. Got it? Please type in you heard me. Yes, Will, thank you for correcting me. No, that's a bad thing to get wrong with somebody who's studying. So Norvik, please type in the screen, go, I understand, N10008. Norvik, I need you to do this or I'm going to start panicking. I'm already panicking. Blue Lantern. No, red lanterns are bad. I'm sorry. I've just never been a big person. I watched a few of the early Iron Mans, but after that, I haven't. Is the Security Plus retiring soon? I haven't heard any announcements about Security Plus. You do keep in mind, though, the CompTIA does their certifications in a 3-year window. So, do keep that in mind as something that you're thinking about. So if an exam's been out for a couple years, you might want to keep listening in. Feel free to always come in here. If we hear an announcement like that, as soon as they'll let us know, we'll say it right here on the AMA to let you guys know. Also, while we're talking, do keep in mind that we have a wonderful Discord channel. I keep wanting to say it's small, but it's not that small anymore. We've got many hundreds of people in there, if not tickling 1,000 these days. I haven't looked in a few weeks. And please join our Discord channel. Dave will put a link in there to the Discord channel. I don't get on there nearly as much as I should, but some of this wacky crew here, they're going to be on there. And it's especially if you have a more detailed question, you need to take a camera and show things or share a screen, the Discord channel is the way to go. I mean, that's always the problem with me helping with repair scenarios here on an AMA, because I can't see your screen or which buttons you're pressing, you know what I mean? But that Discord channel is amazing. I can't recommend it enough. Thank you, Dave, for putting that up there. It's absolutely amazing. All right, well, guys, it's 2:50, and it seems like things are slowing down a little bit, which is always fine. Do keep in mind that we've got a lot of great shows coming up here, and I really want you guys to come in there. Also, do keep in mind that I'm very interested in any of you guys. I mean, I know Lester's a part of our current cohort, but we're always looking for the right type of people to join us in CyberNow Labs program. It is absolutely amazing. Look, guys, not only do I like their program, I'm an investor in it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. That's how proud I feel of this program. And when they tell you, give them 6 months and they'll give you a 6-figure income, they're not kidding. And it's something you guys need to be taking a good hard look at. I want you to contact me directly. Just send me an email, go, Mike, why are you getting all wound up about this CyberNow Labs program? And it's because we desperately need you. The industry is short 700,000 people, and I need you. I need you to jump in. And please give me a contact directly. You can also call CyberNow Labs directly if you'd like. That's cybernowlabs.com. Just give them a holler and tell them Mike Meyers sent you, will you? All right, guys. Oh, we're only at 500 members on Discord? Okay, that's your all's fault. Join the Discord channel. All right, guys, it looks like things... Whoa, we do have another question. So, Norvik comes in under the wire. May I ask you, explain quick about proxy server, how to build, and why is it important in case? Norvik, I can do better than that. What I need you to do is search right here on YouTube in the Total Seminars channel. I want you to look up proxy server. Last year, we did an amazing show on it, and I'm pretty sure that will answer all your questions. Please watch that show here on the Total Seminars channel first. After you're done watching that, if you have more questions, just come back on the AMA and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. Andre, don't look anymore. You just lost 6 people. Obcar, Mike, I'm confused about the M.2. Does it come with SSD and NVMe type? I don't know. No, it doesn't come with an SSD. Or here, RJ, let me type that in for you. It's CyberNow Labs. They've got a deal. They've got another cohort starting January 15th, 14th or 15th, I forget. Either way, if you join this cohort, if you sign up by Friday of this week, it's got to be this week, they're knocking $500 off. There's all kinds of deals. You got to call the folks over at CyberNow Labs, or call them and they'll get you started. It's an absolutely amazing program. cybernowlabs.com. Who turned on my caps? Oh, yeah. But it's always a great program. Okay, guys, it looks like that's all we got for the day. I am out of here. Keep in mind, next week's going to be a lot of fun. If anybody sees Zam, tell them I'm going to do the MSI push-outs for Windows Server. I got the server already spun up here, and I got to get a couple of clients on there, so there's something actually to push to. And it's just a startup script. It's actually kind of trivial, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of setup to show something that takes all of about 10 seconds. But we will be doing that, and it should be a fun program. It's going to be fun. We got Joe Ram coming. Gosh, who all is coming? I just said them, I forgot. Doug Jones from International Space Station will be there. Obviously, the moment certain A+ instructors are coming their heads out of the debris of yet another hurricane, we'll have Steve on here as well. So it should work out really good. All right, guys, I am out of here. I will see you all next Monday. Don't forget Friday, Dave Rush has his AMA, D-R-A-M-A, Dave Rush AMA, D-R-A-M-A drama. The beautiful part about Dave's show on Fridays is Dave concentrates on Raspberry Pis. Now you'd sit there and go, there's no certification of Raspberry Pi. I know. Dave's goal in life is to do everything as inexpensively as possible. Trust me, I've watched him stay away from the check at dinner. And Dave has learned how to use Raspberry Pis for so many amazing features to learn A+, Net+, Security+. Why work on an $1,100 system when you can do the same job for $30? And Dave does a great job. And it's always right here on the Total Seminars channel. It's 2 o'clock Central Time, right here every Friday. So please check out Dave. All right, guys, I am out of here. I will see you all soon. Please send me some emails for those of you who are interested in joining that next cohort and taking advantage of that $500 discount. Until then, this is your little Uncle Mikey saying bye-bye. I'll see you guys Monday.